Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another review. And I don't know, kind of feels like I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've actually just did one. So it was Freezer. So we're actually looking at another figure from the Wave One Studio Series Rise of the Beast line, which is showing up at various online retail, as far as I know. And this is Voyager class Cheetor, and I have to say. Cheetor is really nice. Um, I'm really impressed with how this figure looks. Now there is some limits to articulation in cheetah mode, but the robot mode, which we'll get to in a few minutes, is actually quite nice. Um, Now we have seen Cheetor in the movie trailers, and this color is fairly accurate to how it'll look in the film. Yes, it's missing some of the spots. Let me go ahead and remove these. And if you know anything about budgeting and paint deco, apparently, having the proper number of spots, each dot is like it is a cost. So I mean, the price of the figure would shoot up. Apparently, I mean, I think it's a bit of a stretch, but as you just saw, Cheetor comes with two weapons, and these are two spears. Yes, they are different size. Yes, they are different designed, and they can combine. I'll show you more of that in robot mode, how to do all that, but it stores there on the back. So why with the original Beast Wars toy, excuse me, you don't have the complete weapon storage that it hides in. I mean, at least there is something there. Now, I don't know how much of those spears will come into play in the movie. I don't think we've seen them in the trailer, but at least we've seen the figure, and we can tell that this is fairly accurate. Does it have green eyes there? The head art is articulated side to side. I thought it could move up and down. I mean, there is a little wiggle there, but I think it's just the hinge, and the mouth can open. But like I said, the legs, the front legs, this is basically what you're getting with on the paws there. The rear legs, you have a little bit more movement, but you have to be careful not to knock up the back plate, which pegs into place for transformation. So, I mean, most of your posing is going to be rather static. So I think that's about it. Oh, and of course the tail can wiggle. Now this joint right here where the bronze is, the bronze is copper. That's really the hinge for the tail. That gray hinge is what's there for transformation. So, just keep that in mind. If you're a stickler for only using the proper joints for each mold, whatever. So, like I said, I think we'll pause and we will come back for the transformation. Okay, so I've gone ahead and adjusted the camera slightly, and I have to say, unlike a lot of the Studio Series figures we've looked at, um, this transformation is fairly easy and it's fun to do. There's some really cool bits, especially here in the back legs. So the first thing you want to do is let's lift up that back plate and start folding the tail just to get it out of the way. Next, what you want to do is let's straighten the legs out. Um, and you're going to bend what will be the robot mode knees forward while straightening out what will now become the robot mode foot, and you want to try to get it as straight as possible. You'll know you have it right when you unpeg this panel here, and it accordions down and pegs into place, and this will become the robot mode shin. So then what you want to do is rotate right above the knee. Let's do that again on this side. Well, we have to do it again on this side. Great, and there is a double ankle pivot, so that's really cool there. So just do it again here. Bring it down and rotate. Make sure you got that all closed in. And there you have the robot mode feet done. A little disappointed that the cheetah paws can't fold up like the robot mode feet do, but I kind of get it. They do act as, ankle support. Next, we're going to come in here and we're going to do the torso. What you want to do now is grab the front legs here, right by what will be the robot mode shoulder, and you're going to unpeg them from the side of the neck and rotate them out. Now, I actually, going into cheetah mode, screw this up in terms of the transformation. So when you're going to cheetah mode, you want to make sure you have this little section here right above the elbow that facing outward away from the cheetah head so it faces forward in cheetah mode. But now you want to rotate that so it's facing towards you, and then you want to come in and grab this little panel here, rotate it around so that's on the side, bring the cheetah paw down to like sort of soft frictions into place, and then rotate the fist so it's down like that. And then just bring the arm down. And we're going to do that again on this side, just like so. Boom, and down. Now, this is one of the cooler parts. Let's go ahead. We're going to open up the chest here, flip out the robot mode head, but then we're also going to open up the back. And with the cheetah head here, if you haven't already, closed the cheetah mount, but also this little neck piece that was covering up some of the gapping, fold that up all the way. And make sure you have the cheetah head folded down so that the tab there is equal to that gray hinge. And on the gray hinge, fold that up. That will allow the cheetah head to fold up into the chest and close up the front here. There you go. And then finally, on that gray hinge, push up the tail so that it sits flush along the back. And there you have Cheetor in its robot mode. And like I said, fairly easy for a Studio Series figure, and you get a very nice, clean-looking robot mode. This I can't get over is how this is much cleaner than any of the Beast Wars or even the Kingdom figure. Yes, I mean the robot mode arms are the cheetah arms, and you do lose a little bit of that articulation in cheetah mode, but for a clean robot mode, I don't mind. Now there is something I want to point out with the head. Let's bring the head coming close here. How many of you are old enough to remember that really bad 60-in-1 NES bootleg cartridge that featured a game called Cheetah Men? Well, I have to say, this head of Cheetor really reminds me of how the Cheetah Men looked. Long story short, bootleg cartridge, really bad unfinished game called Cheetah Men. Apparently the people who were behind the cart, they had like a lot of plans for the Cheetah Men. In fact, there's an even rarer, very expensive prototype cart of Cheetah Men 2, a sequel to the game. And this is going to be a franchise with comics, cartoons, action figures, but yeah, so very, very similar. Now, what's really cool is how the articulation works. These bits here are shoulder pads that can move out, so you get a lot of arm movement here that's unobstructed. Bicep swivel, you got the wrists, and I like the cheetah paws as like little, fist daggers, what have you. The head is on a ball joint, somewhat expressive. You don't get the side-to-side waggle, but you do have some like, ooh, who are you? Remember in the movie that apparently the beasts are going to be the same size as normal Transformers. There is a waist articulation. You might have to finagle with the butt plate to get it moving the way you want, but, small potatoes. Universal joint at the hip. You got that nice knee bend, and as I mentioned, you have the ankle pivot and that toe joint is there. So you can use it. And of course the swivel right above the knee. So like I said, a lot of articulation here. Now, before I forget, let me bring in the weapons. Obviously, Cheetor can hold its spears just like that. Oop, almost knocked him over. Either hand, either way, however you feel, just like so. But of course, they do combine, and the easiest way I find for them to combine is you put one in the hand, and then you just come in underneath, you peg the other one in, and then what you can do is slide that combined peg up So Cheetor's holding it in a somewhat uh, you know, even way. Keep in mind as even as the spears will allow, since again, this is a they are different, but really cool. I am curious to see how much screen time Cheetor gets, seeing as how in the original Beast Wars cartoon, Cheetor was a big fan favorite character. Almost like that human avatar, as in Bumblebee was in the G1 cartoon, and Hotshot was in the Unicron trilogy. So I think that's about it for the review. We'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. I wasn't expecting to like Cheetor as much as I do, but this is a really fun figure, and the articulation in robot mode really puts it over the top. And I appreciate that since it does have a melee weapon, and as you can see, you can get some really fun posing out of it. The one thing you can't do is a two-handed pose. I mean, you can sort of fake it, but I don't see why bother. But just a fun figure. Now, I got this figure off of Amazon.com. It and RC ship. They moved up the date from April 1st to sometime last week, and I believe they're in stock now. Hasbro Pulse, besides Cheetor and RC, have the rest of that Studio Series wave minus Scourge in stock to ship. At last I checked. So those are the two locations I know you can get these now. As far as I know, as far as I can remember, these have not been found at brick and mortar retail yet. I think there might be a street date or something like that to deal with, so keep that in mind. Um, Amazon will give you a little bit of a lower price than, say, Hasbro Pulse, but keep in mind all they have to ship right now is Cheetor, RC, and Freezer, whereas Hasbro Pulse has that whole wave minus Scourge. And I think, when if you order them at a lot, you get like some free shipping or something. So there's that. But definitely, this is a great figure and worth the pickup. And like I said again, I'm curious to see how it's going to look in the movie. So that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions will help to communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tiers, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you and help me help you bring figures like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. But, as I always say, as I understand times are tough now, prices, inflation, things are just not what it should be. If you cannot swing the $1 a month or $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. So, with all that being said, um, this is your old pal Chuck for Cheetor. We will see you next time.